TIFU by accidentally replying, "I love you," to my boss instead of my partner. So, this happened yesterday, and honestly, I'm still trying to recover from the secondhand embarrassment I gave myself. A little background first, I work at a mid-sized marketing firm where communication is key. My boss, Mr. Reynolds, is the kind of guy who's professional but still maintains a pretty casual atmosphere. He's in his late 40s, very sharp, no nonsense when it comes to deadlines, but he also cracks the occasional dad joke that no one really laughs at but we all politely chuckle because, you know, corporate survival. Meanwhile, I've been in a relationship with my boyfriend, Chris, for about 2 years now. We're at that super comfortable phase where texting random, "I love yous" throughout the day is a pretty regular thing. Yesterday was particularly chaotic. We were prepping for a big client pitch, and everything was due by noon. Everyone was running around like headless chickens trying to get their parts together. I was finalizing a presentation deck, answering questions from the design team, coordinating with the content writers, and simultaneously texting Chris about dinner plans later. My phone was basically an extension of my hand at that point. So here I am, toggling between work emails, Slack messages, texts from Chris, and trying not to have a meltdown. Chris sends me a sweet little, "Good luck, you're going to crush it babe, I love you," text right as I get an email from Mr. Reynolds asking for a last-minute revision on a key slide. In my frantic multitasking, I read Chris's text, smiled like an idiot, then flipped over to my email, intending to quickly reply to Mr. Reynolds with, "Got it, working on it now." But my sleep-deprived, over-caffeinated brain had other plans. Without double-checking, I clicked "Reply" on Mr. Reynolds' email and typed out, "I love you," and hit send. I didn't even realize what I had done until about 5 minutes later when my phone buzzed and it was Chris texting, "Did you mean to say that to me?" Confused, I double-checked my texts and realized I hadn't actually replied to Chris. That's when the horror dawned on me. I flipped back to my email, and there it was. Sent. Stamped. Delivered. To my boss. Subject line, RE, urgent revisions for client pitch. Body, "I love you." I think my soul physically left my body for a second. My brain immediately went into damage control mode. I debated pretending it didn't happen, quitting my job, moving to a remote island, changing my name to something like Coconut Steve, and living out my days in shameful anonymity. But because I enjoy things like food, shelter, and health insurance, I decided to send a follow-up email instead. Something like, "Oh my God, that message was meant for my boyfriend. I'm so sorry. Working on the revisions now." I hovered over the send button for what felt like an eternity, internally screaming, before finally clicking it. A few minutes later, Mr. Reynolds replied, "Haha, no worries. Thanks for the love. Looking forward to the edits." And because he's Mr. Reynolds, he also added, "But seriously, let's make sure the client presentation loves us too." I could have cried from relief. I think I actually did a little. He was so chill about it, bless him. Still, the damage was done. By the time the presentation was ready and we all gathered in the conference room to rehearse, I could feel a couple of my coworkers giving me these side-eye glances and smirks. Someone must have seen the email pop up in the shared thread or heard about it through our ever-efficient grapevine. At one point, when I handed Mr. Reynolds the printed notes for the meeting, he looked at me with a completely deadpan face and said, "Thanks, love," before cracking a small grin. I wanted the floor to open up and swallow me whole. I managed a weak laugh, turned approximately 50 shades of red, and power-walked back to my seat. Chris found the whole thing hilarious when I told him later. He kept sending me random messages throughout the evening like, "Have you told your boss you love him today?" and, "Should I be worried about this new man in your life?" Real comedian, that one. Anyway, today everyone seems to have moved on, thank God. No more jokes, no weirdness, at least not to my face. I still catch the occasional smirk from Linda from accounting, but I can live with that. In the grand scheme of things, it could have been way worse. At least Mr. Reynolds is cool. Could you imagine if I had a scary boss? I'd probably be unemployed right now, writing this from a cardboard box. Moral of the story, always double-check who you're replying to. Always. Especially when throwing around the L word. What do you think? Tell us in the comments. Like the video and hit the subscribe button for more Reddit stories.